All right, welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Six Pack 2023 Fantasy Baseball. We called them the Outlier Show for the first ones, and then we realized it probably wasn't the right name. So we're calling them the players that draft outside of the top 150 ADP or rankings. Today we're going to be covering the third base position. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me is Austin Cull, a new contributor here at Fantasy Six Pack. You're going to see his face all over our YouTube channel, and you might have already seen his face on YouTube. Go check out his own show, the Fantasy Baseball on Deck. The link will be in the description below, so check that out. And before we get going, though, just remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave those comments. Appreciate it, and make sure you go subscribe. We just launched our new memberships. The whole site now is open for memberships, our Discord and everything else. We got baseball tools galore, so check that out. But I'm ready to rock, man. Let's cover this third base position. And to start things off, we're gonna be talking about Josh Jung from the Texas Rangers. This is a guy who, came up quick through the minors, right? And shown some power. So, what do you like about him this season?
Well, he's new school baseball, right? Also, yeah, I'm high on Austin. That's my first time talking. Um, Clears throat. Josh Jung is new school baseball, right? He is full time, like full power, swing or miss. He's gonna if he makes contact with it, it's an elite hard hit rate, or he is striking out. And that's the thing that we don't love about him in the very beginning of his career. He didn't have enough at bats last season to fully give him a good judgment. But what I do like about Josh Jung is that they are going to give him every opportunity to figure it out. He's going to be the everyday third baseman. He's going to hit between the 4 and 6 hole in the batting order. And again, what's concerning is that he is striking out 38% of the time. If you're not putting balls in play, you don't have an opportunity to earn any sort of fantasy points, right? His batting average is low. His on-base percentage is low. He doesn't walk a ton. But what I do love and what is encouraging, again, is that when he does make contact with the ball, he is averaging over a double per hit. His total base per hit number is 2.05, and he has a 42% hard hit rate, which is considered elite across his peers, regardless if they're veteran status or rookie. 42% hard hit rate is incredible. So what he is doing is making the most of his contact. So
Nice.
take away the shift coming up this season and just the fact that he is a big, strong kid, like he's going to get every at bat. He's going to get 550, 600 bats. He's supposed to be a third baseman in the future. They have a lot invested into him. And I feel like, what we're missing out on is too often people get pulled. They don't get enough at bats to figure things out. Similar to like a Jason Kelenic is supposed to be this crazy prospect. They only throw him out there for 150 at bats as he struggles with a bunch of distractions around him, and then they pull him. So, didn't have enough time to really get his feet wet. So Josh Jung, opposite of that, really will have an opportunity to succeed and thrive. And I think he will in that hot, Texas ballpark. It's less hot. They put air conditioning into it. Yeah. But Josh Jung, I think there's a lot of positive with Josh Jung moving forward.
Yeah, and honestly, you mentioned the strike out or get a hit type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like half of the baseball players nowadays, it feels like. So whatever, he's not in a position in the draft where, if he doesn't give you average, it's not going to kill you, because there's not a lot of guys down there that are going to give you average and give you power and other counting stats. Some of the guys down at that level, like a Luis Arias, right? They're good contact hitters and they're good on base guys, but they don't give you much else. So they're not very valuable in fantasy. They're good real life players more than they are fantasy. And so these guys like the Josh Jungs of the world, those are the guys you want in that territory. And you never know. Maybe things click a little bit better, contact rate gets up, he has more plate discipline. And we've seen crazy things happen where all of a sudden batting averages clicks. So next up here, we will be covering Brandon Drury of the now Los Angeles Angels. Had a bit of a breakout last season. Kind of came out of nowhere. This was not expected at all. Projections this year are moderate for him, to be expected. I mean, that was a kind of an outlier season, I feel like, but still a good draft value to you.
Yeah. So, this past year, Brandon Drury, and I don't know. I have the I think I messed up with his 2022 numbers. He had more than 19 home runs for sure. Um, I'm this is a great start because he had 20 home runs just through the first 92 games at Cincinnati. Are you able to
Let me
check
see
me on
here.
that?
It's 28. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
hit
thought so.
you hit a 0 instead of an 8. That's all
I
right. Mistakes
big
happen.
big dummy. If he had 28 home runs this past season. He's been a journeyman. Hasn't really clicked where he's been. But Brandon Drury this past year with Cincinnati was you look. This is what you watch these shows, kind of looking in between the context, like the context in between their lines, right? At Cincinnati through 92 games, he was in the second most friendly ballpark in all of baseball with home runs. He hits 20 home runs across 92 games, hits a 274 batting average, was hitting in the 2-hole, 3-hole. So, like, really in that primetime spot on a bad team. Gets traded at the deadline, goes the rest of the season, hitting in the 30th, so the worst home run friendly ballpark at San Diego, and only has 8 home runs the rest of the season sort of thing. But the positive, why is Brandon Drury someone that we're talking about? Yeah, he's position friendly. He's eligible across a lot of positions. But when he was hitting all those home runs across 92 games in Cincinnati, he averaged just over approximately 1.88 total bases per hit. So even with those home runs, he's averaging almost a double per hit. When he went to San Diego, he still, even though he didn't hit home runs, he still maintained exactly 1.89 total bases per hit. So his actual total base numbers, his individual productivity per at bat, per hit was the same. He just became a double machine. Which is something that's good, right? That's like consistent. His power is kind of ceiling. We know what it is. If he's in a home run friendly ballpark, he's going to hit home runs. If he's not, he's taking the same batting approach, the same approach to his plate appearances across all of his plate appearances and things. And the pressure wasn't too high. His batting average was the exact same. His slash numbers, everything across the slash line was consistent. So what's nice that he's going into the LA lineup, and as we've talked about, LA Angels, as long as they're healthy, score a ton of runs and are an extremely, exciting baseball team because they have a lot of talent. Brandon Drury also has a lot of talent, and he's going to be in the 4th most friendly, home run friendly ballpark in all of baseball. He's going to play every single day because he plays every single position. Their infield is kind of like spotty from a defensive perspective. I think he's going to play a lot at second base. He also has outfield capabilities, and they just traded away, Brandon Marsh, who was supposed to take everyday responsibilities. Mike Trout and Taylor Ward locked in. Joe Adele still figuring things out. I think that again, Brandon Drury is going to play every single day, and for the reasons I said before, within that spot, he's going to do pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, if that lineup can stay healthy, and we've talked about this a couple different times because we've brought up some Angels players before.
Yeah.
If this lineup can stay healthy, I mean, he's behind some really some big studs, obviously. So the RBI can be there for sure for him. The run total to be determined. The guys behind him are question marks for sure, but it can be a very, very powerful lineup if it stays healthy. That's the key. But let's move on here to your next player here, and that is Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this is a prospect that is going very late in drafts to be expected. But why do you like him as a late round flyer or somebody to keep an eye on? As he's not really projected to be in the starting lineup on opening day yet.
So listening to a lot of people speak and reading a lot of articles. He's number 4 prospect in all of baseball. He is extremely highly touted. He also has a ton of competition in the outfield. So he's traditionally a third baseman. He's getting moved to the outfield, to compete with a bunch of guys like Tyler O'Neill and the Dylan Carlsons and the Brandon Donovans and the Lars Nootbaars and the Juan Yepes. We talked about what Yepes, Tommy Edmonds. He's going to have a ton of competition, so it's a little murky to say the least. But number 4 prospect in all of baseball for a reason. Big, strong, fast kid. So 6'4", 220 pounds, and steals 22 bases this past season. Extremely fast. They said, if anything, even if his bat is his number one tool, but he throws at like it was a 99.5 mile per hour speed out of the outfield with his arm throwing into the. He has every capability to be an incredible outfielder. So tagging that along into it, Jordan Walker has an opportunity, honestly, to make the opening day roster and to win a spot. If I'm the St. Louis Cardinals, I'm not allowing him to play in the beginning just to earn an extra year contract out of him. But the way that they've talked about him is he has every opportunity to be super successful. He's always hit for average, but has never ever sacrificed power. They talk about him being his capabilities with power, at least, is going to be every bit of 30 home runs plus, into his season. Obviously, he's a super young guy. He got drafted in 2020, and you've talked about that before. 2020 kind of inhibiting people's growth. And if that didn't happen, where would people be at now? I think Jordan Walker would have already been in this lineup. So they have no reason to rush him up. And I don't know if this is somebody, depending on how deep your team is, if it's a plug and play per week, or if it's an everyday draft, or if it's a dynasty league, he's probably already gone. But Jordan Walker is absolutely somebody to keep on your watch list. The second that he gets brought up to the roster, I feel like he's going to force his way in, and they're not going to be able to bench him. I really have a ton of faith in this guy. I've already heard a couple people think that he's going to be the NL Rookie of the Year coming up this season. He's
click that little star next to his name on your free agent list, but maybe hold off on drafting him for now, because it might be a while until we see him, because that's a pretty loaded outfield, and obviously he's not playing ahead of Arenado unless there's an injury. And even then, probably not playing there. That'd be a Nolan Gorman role. Last guy here is somebody that I added to the list, and you let me steal your thunder here a little bit. And I'm going to talk about Ty France. This is somebody who I just can't quit, man. And the value is always there. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that in the middle of the draft like this, and he's going right around the 150 range, that you can just basically count on for 20 home runs, a pretty good batting average. Last year it dropped, although that was due a bit to a little bit of luck. His BABIP dropped a good 30 points last season, which was kind of crazy from the season before. And so, I was looking a little bit harder into that, and he got shifted on quite a bit. Like half of his plate appearances were shifted on. I mean, that we know that's going away, right? So we're gonna see stuff climb back up for a lot of these players, and he's one of those where I think projections have him right around what we're looking at here, like 270 because of last year, right? I think we're going to see his batting average climb back into the 290s. I really do.
I see every bat in the league adding 15 points onto their batting average.
Yeah,
we're going to see people come out of the woodwork that could not get past the shift. You think about guys that are just like, you don't even have someone on your screen over.
Can you imagine Chris Davis still playing in this? Right. Like he would still be good. I mean, like the shift absolutely destroyed players like Chris Davis. Yeah. He couldn't do anything. I mentioned that because, as you can tell, I've got all the Orioles stuff behind me, and so I'm bitter we're still paying his chump ass. Anyway, we're past that. Hey, we're still paying you. We need to come back and play some baseball. He's gonna be like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna wash my couch. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy. I mean, and look, that lineup is going to only get better, in my opinion, this year. Obviously, with the emergence of the stellar rookie Julio Rodriguez last year, Suarez came on strong. They added Teoscar Hernandez. I just think that, especially at the top of that lineup, is going to score a lot of runs. And it's weird, like he actually had more RBI than he had runs last year. I kind of think we're going to see more of a balance because of the guys behind him, with the addition to Teoscar Hernandez being able to bat him in. And so I think he is somebody who, especially if you can get him and slot him in like a corner infield slot, that's golden. So I love Ty France at the value you're getting him. So I think you've got one more guy that you kind of just want to throw in as a bonus real quick here, but I'm gonna let you have the floor just for
Yeah.
like 30 seconds.
Yep, not allowed to talk about people inside the 150, but overall, you guys can do the research. I think Austin Riley is the best value overall in all of fantasy baseball, pitching, bats, whatever, at the third base position. He was second overall in total bases this past season behind Aaron Judge. I'll just leave it at that. He's in the 60s, and he should be a top 20 pick every time. So depending on your draft format, I want to just fit in Austin Riley. That's your guy. Don't let him get off the board. He is the most valuable.
I want to know where he's ranked in the 60s because that's hilarious.
ESPN. My show is based on ESPN and taking advantage of ESPN doing stupid things. That's the whole concept. Yeah.
Which is why we got Jazz Chisholm, I think, on here too. But that is what it is. All right, so that's it for the third base position, everybody. Go ahead and, again, hit those subscribe buttons, those like buttons, leave those comments. We appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.